We always hear that indie game developers have a passion for their craft, and those who make games know how much effort, heart, and soul we put into our creations. In the case of Dreams of Joy Departed developer, horbror, this passion has truly shone through. Today, we are delving into what sets the game and work of horbror apart, showcasing the remarkable dedication and creativity that has gone into this indie horror JRPG game. I'm Gaba, and this is Proto Peek, a YouTube series where I play and give feedback to indie games in their early stages of development. In Dreams of Joy Departed, you step into the shoes of James Winter, a man searching for his lost girlfriend in a surreal dreamscape. As you navigate through fragmented memories, both your own and others, you uncover the complex history of a troubled family. As you understand more about the characters in this story, your actions may help them resolve their feelings towards one another. But okay, let's get down to business. What's the game like? Well, I have to admit to you that I'm not your typical JRPG enthusiast. Most of the time they don't really float my boat, but every now and then a game like Undertale managed to grab my attention. In case of Dreams of Joy Departed, I've noticed some intriguing ideas. Like the concept of turning some of your choices into equipment through the motion system, which I thought it was a very creative approach with a lot of potential. Character abilities based on their personalities is an effective way to weave storytelling into the gameplay mechanics. And the modular design of some of the bosses, where each part represents something about the character, was very powerful and an enjoyable insight. Now, onto the not so great news. I didn't exactly click with the combat. It felt like a blast from the past, reminding me of those old school JRPGs where you grind through battles just to unlock the next cutscene. On the flip side, hats off to the game for putting a focus on exploration. Discovering new paths, using items to unlock hidden spots, that's the kind of stuff that gets me going. However, I ran into a few head-scratching moments with some of the maps. There were times when I was completely lost, not sure where to go next. One case that stands out is the Black Book, which I completely missed the fact that you had to interact with it. I found myself going down a rabbit hole, trying all sorts of methods. I even attempted to enter the meat grinder hole and faced off against vengeful spirits, thinking I'd collect their hair as some sort of bizarre trophy that would unlock my path. To my dismay, none of these efforts paid off, and I was on the verge of throwing in the towel. By the way, have I mentioned that I'm not the biggest fan of JRPG combat? Looking into the art and sound in Dreams of Joy Departed, it's got this MS Paint style aesthetic, which is quite unique. But in my view, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes it adds to the overall experience, giving it a nostalgic and eerie vibe that suits a horror game. I felt it was akin to the nostalgic and liminal horrors like the Backrooms. And let's talk about the enemy designs. Some of them are genuinely impressive, especially those grinders and cutters. I'll admit, I did my best to avoid those battles. In the boss fights, that mom boss will live rent-free in my mind for a while. However, the art doesn't always play nice when it comes to the maps. They can be a little bit perplexing, to say the least. And it's not just in the dream world. Even the quote-unquote real maps can throw you for a loop. The hotel section, for instance, left me scratching my head as I had to navigate through what I felt like it was a catwalk inside a building. On the flip side, I've got to give credit where it's due. The cinematics are outstanding. It is evident that a lot of effort went into creating them, and they are a standout feature of the game. You can tell that horbror poured their passion into this project, and it fills me with determination. Now onto the audio. game packs a substantial soundtrack, and I've read that the music provides gameplay hints, which is a neat concept. I'm all for music playing a significant role in storytelling and gameplay, especially in narrative-driven games. However, I must admit that I struggle to pick up on those supposed musical hints. Still, the music itself is undeniably impressive. As for the sound effects, they mostly hit the mark for a horror game. Some of the buffs and debuffs are genuinely unsettling and add to the overall experience. But I do wish there were some creepy sounds from the mobs. Now let's explore some insights and suggestions that I believe could enhance the overall gaming experience. So let's dive in and see how Dreams of Joy Departed can step up its game. Number 1 is add or fix the autosave feature. I've died a couple of times and forgot to save. It was really punishing. If you don't want to include autosave in your game, make sure to add save tokens like Dark Souls bonfires or Undertale's save system. They serve as a reminder for the player to save, and they could be useful for storytelling. Number 2 is to work on the horror elements. Now, I'm not sure how much horrifying the game is supposed to be. The themes are certainly heavy, and some monsters are scary, but it's all quote-unquote in your face. There's no building of tension, no hinting at the horrors of this world, and the horror feels a bit shallow as a result. Number 3 is the peculiarity of the game. The game is certainly peculiar, in the best sense of the word. It has an uncanny quality which can catalyze the horror of the game, and I really like that. Please continue being weird. Number 4 is dialogue effects. I'm pretty sure you'll get to this at some point, but the game could really use some dialogue effects that show more of the emotion behind the words. A good example of a game that has this is Katana Zero. The dialogue in the game pops because of it. So there you have it. Dreams of Joy Departed is an eerie and atmospheric RPG that touches on difficult subjects with its story, with an incredible amount of care within its cinematics and music. A clear display of passion that, unfortunately for me, follows a lot of tropes and mechanics of JRPGs. If you like this kind of video, I'll be continuing this series with other indie games that are under development. If you'd like your game or some other game to be tested, make sure to leave a comment. Don't forget to also like and subscribe. Falou!